The proposal happened halfway through dessert. Nobody warned her beforehand, though later everyone behaved as if the surprise itself explained everything. Her brother stood beside the fireplace holding a champagne glass in one hand and their grandmother's ring in the other. The room reacted before the fiancé even answered gasps. Phones rising instantly, her mother already crying. From the far end of the dining table, she recognized the ring immediately, small oval diamond, thin gold band. One tiny scratch near the setting where her grandmother used to tap it absent-mindedly against coffee mugs. The fiancé said yes before she fully processed what she was seeing. Everyone moved at once after that, hugging, flash photography. Her brother laughing too loudly from adrenaline and relief. She stayed seated, not frozen exactly, just delayed. Her mother passed behind her chair at one point and squeezed her shoulder quickly, almost preemptively, like calming a situation before it formed. Later, after the cake was cut and relatives drifted toward the kitchen, she finally asked quietly, "Where did you get Grandma's ring?" Her brother avoided her eyes immediately. Their mother answered instead, "Oh, don't start. I'm just asking." "You're not even engaged," her mother said, voice lowering impatiently. "Don't be petty." That word settled strangely in her chest, petty, as if memory itself were competitive. Years earlier, during the last month of hospice care, her grandmother had held her wrist one afternoon and said the ring should go to her someday, not because she was oldest, not because she deserved it more. "You notice things," her grandmother had whispered. "You keep track." At the time, she assumed it was emotional language from someone preparing to die. Nothing formal, nothing binding. So at the engagement dinner, she said nothing else, but over the next few days, small inconsistencies kept bothering her. The way her brother referred vaguely to finding the ring. The way her mother kept changing details about when the safety deposit box had been emptied after probate. Mostly, though, it was the confidence that unsettled her. Nobody acted like they'd taken something. They acted like they'd redistributed it correctly. One rainy Tuesday after work, she called the bank, handling the old estate records. Not angrily, mostly curious. The employee transferred her twice before locating archived custodial documents connected to the safety deposit box. Then came a pause. "I'm sorry," the woman said carefully. "Can you confirm your mailing address?" Something in her tone changed the temperature of the conversation immediately. 20 minutes later, scanned records arrived in her email. The ring was still listed under temporary custodial assignment in her name, pending final personal property distribution review. Nobody had ever updated the paperwork. Technically, possession of the ring had never legally transferred. She stared at the documents for a long time at her kitchen counter, while pasta boiled over quietly on the stove behind her. The emotional part came second. First came embarrassment, not because she wanted the ring back desperately, but because suddenly years of family behavior rearranged themselves into a pattern she could no longer pretend not to see. Promises counted until convenience changed. Sentiment counted until someone else wanted the symbol more. The next morning, she made one call to the bank's estate services department requesting formal clarification regarding unauthorized transfer of custodial property. She used an even tone throughout, no accusations, no threats, just procedure. 2 weeks later, the ring disappeared from the fiancé's finger. Nobody explained publicly why, but the family group chat went silent almost overnight. Then came the credit card issue. While reviewing old estate-linked paperwork, she noticed nearly $6,000 in charges attached to a secondary emergency card her mother still technically had access to from years earlier: furniture stores, travel deposits, boutique purchases. The realization hurt worse than the ring somehow, not the amount. The assumption underneath it. She froze the account and submitted formal disputes for unauthorized usage. That was when panic started. Her brother called first, furious and defensive at the same time. "You embarrassed her," he said. "She shouldn't have had it. Everyone knew Grandma wanted it in the family. She left it in my name." Silence followed that, not because he agreed, because documentation had entered a conversation previously controlled by emotion and assumption. Her mother called later, crying harder about the credit card than the ring. "You could handle this privately," she almost answered. "I tried to." Instead, she said nothing. A month later, she sat alone in a small bank office while an employee placed the ring inside a gray velvet tray beneath fluorescent lights. It looked smaller than she remembered, less magical. More ordinary. The employee asked whether she wanted to take possession immediately. She hesitated, then shook her head. "Leave it in the box for now." Walking back to her car afterward, she realized retrieving the ring hadn't restored anything. Not her grandmother. Not trust. Not the version of family history everyone had quietly edited to make themselves comfortable. Her brother eventually married anyway. The engagement survived, though something around it always seemed slightly strained afterward. As for the ring, it remained locked away. Not because she stopped caring, because sometimes an object carries too much proof of how people loved selectively when they thought nobody was keeping records.